Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. As you can hear from my very sexy voice, I'm a little bit sick. Today we're talking about 5 things that we learned in relationships from each other, but also from our past experiences from other folks.
Wow. So this is slightly solicited, slightly helpful advice.
Obviously every relationship is different. This advice may not necessarily apply to you. Please take it with a
grain of salt.
Now before we start, I do have a very special announcement for you guys. Thank you so much to Discord for sponsoring today's video. We actually ran into their team IRL at VidCon, and at the time we were already considering starting our own Discord server.
If you're not already familiar with Discord, this is a platform that lets you chat with us and chat with other members of our community.
Kevin and I actually spent a lot of time doing research and crafting this server together, but there are going to be different channels. You can tell us what your Chinese zodiac sign is, what your Enneagram is, you can introduce yourself, send us pictures of your dog, send us work selfies. We are so excited.
Yeah.
If you are an OG, you might actually remember this. A long time ago on IG stories, I used to have a Friday with Miki series where I would have you guys send me pictures of your biggest win from the week, ranging from anywhere from like passing a test all the way to like
winning the lottery.
Yeah, winning the lottery, like whatever it might be. I just wanted to repost the good news that you guys sent me.
I was a participant.
I didn't post your submissions.
You did not post my submissions.
I'm sorry. Discord will provide a safe space where we can keep track of all of that. The comments and DMs are great, but I love Discord because it has different features like voice, text, you can send GIFs. There's just way more flexibility in how we can communicate with each other.
I hope you'll consider joining us on Discord.
Follow the link in my description box to download and join my Discord server. Number 1, have a loose checklist.
What is a loose checklist?
I think before Kevin and I started dating, we both had a mental checklist of what we call negotiables and non-negotiables.
Yours was mental?
You had a physical list, like written down? No, mine was mental.
Okay.
While some people may see this as unromantic, I feel like it's actually a very practical way to look at love and just kind of increase your likelihood of success. While it's totally okay to date for fun, I feel like if there are core differences that ultimately are gonna prevent two of you from being together, it's better to identify that sooner rather than later.
Do you want to tell me about some of the things that were on your list?
I wrote them down for you guys so that I could read them off. This is a judgment-free zone, okay? There are things, obviously, that you must have in a partner, and then there are things that you prefer to have in a partner. So some of my non-negotiables include Mandarin speaking or being willing to learn it. This is very important to me because my family doesn't speak fluent English, and they're obviously very important to me, and I need a partner who's gonna be able to communicate with them, or at least try to communicate with them. No smoking or drinking. It's not a lifestyle that I lead, so I prefer my partner to also not. Some of my negotiables were, number 1, I was looking for someone like ideally like 5'10" or above, which Kevin at the time, you did tell me you were 5'10", did you not?
With shoes.
Yeah, I like a nice lean body build, you know.
But people's bodies build changes throughout the year.
That is true, that is true. Again, why it's a negotiable. Oh, and able to park, that's important too. Because I can't park, so if we both can't park, that's gonna be a struggle. What did you have?
Non-negotiables. Number 1, don't lie.
He means honesty.
Honesty. See, I need someone who can translate my...
You need a translator.
I need an interpreter, which Miki does very well. Someone needs to laugh at my jokes. My jokes they're very funny, but only penetrates like maybe a few, not the entire population.
Right. Just
select audience. Both people in the relationship need to be like on the same pace, the same cadence.
Yes, I think this is very underrated. Like if you travel together and one person takes like 3 hours to get ready and one person takes 30 seconds.
Do you like going to the airport like 2 hours before?
Right. And then do you want to tell us some of your negotiables?
Many things I care about, right? There's like 3 pages of. Number 1 is being hot. You know? You have to be very attracted to the other person. Okay,
yeah. Physical attraction is actually very important, yes.
Having a career. Like I think it's important for me to be dating someone who like
has goals and
purpose and not just lounging around, and someone who like, you know, you have different goals but you're both trying to achieve those goals and you can help each other get there. One of the last things that's actually really important to me is the kind of foods that you eat. So having a similar diet is really important. you know.
Yeah, especially when you like initially start dating someone, like all you do is like try new food places. Obviously, some of these things can be changed, you know, sooner or later. I think it's real important to just sit down and figure out if a relationship can work from a practical perspective.
Yeah, but these are sort of the things that make you excited. You know, like, oh my God, that's the ideal person. Where does that ideal come from? It comes from these things. Point number 2, invest in really getting to know each other. I think this is kind of a given, but we mean more than just knowing her birthday, her favorite color, her McDonald's order, or
although that is very important.
Those are important things that can get you some brownie points here and there. But you know, every human accepts love in a different way.
We all also handle challenges, successes in very different ways.
We encourage everyone to just have, you know, these deeper conversations.
There are 2 tests that we took super early on that I feel like really strengthened our relationship. The first one is
the love language test.
So this is a test developed by Dr. Gary Chapman. It divides love languages into 5 different languages. The way that you give and receive love may or may not be different than your partner. Just going through the 5 love languages really quickly. Number 1 is acts of service.
Anything that your partner does to help you, you know, decrease your workload.
It may be dishes, it may be vacuuming, and then in turn, if they are not doing these acts of services, you may feel neglected or unloved.
Words of affirmation, positive words that you say to each other.
It can be compliments, it could be encouragement, it could be praise.
Like Miki right now could be telling me, I'm doing a great job.
You're doing a great job,
I'm
sweetie.
doing a great job.
On the flip side, harsh criticism sometimes can be really hurtful. Next up, we have quality time. This person loves undivided attention. Nothing means love more than just being able to spend one-on-one time with them and not scrolling your phone and actually being present in the moment.
Number 4 is physical touch, whether it's kisses, hug, make them feel very, very loved.
And then finally, we have gifts. This is something thoughtful, like a surprise for your significant other. A gift can be something as simple as bringing you a bag of nuts, your favorite nuts at the end of a bad day. So my top love language is acts of service, and yours is?
Words of affirmation.
Yes, Kevin likes it when people tell him, you did a really good job. Here's a secret.
Don't tell people this secret.
If you like appreciate Kevin, if you tell him with your words how much you appreciate him, you can get him to do almost anything. Okay, and then the other test that we highly recommend is the Enneagram test. I know most of you guys are familiar with the MBTI test, which is classifying you on 16 different personalities. So the Enneagram I really like because instead of focusing on your behaviors, it focuses on the reason for your behaviors. You have 1 major personality type, and that is number 1 through 9. We will leave some links explaining more of this information down below, but I am a type 3, which is labeled the achiever, and
I'm a type 8.
Kevin is a challenger, and what I love so much about Enneagrams is that you can actually analyze the relationship between 2 types, and it'll tell you kind of some of the strengths, the pain points, how you guys will argue. Like, we've read the description between the 2 of ours, and it's pretty darn accurate.
And it also has, not only is it accurate, it also provides some insight to, you know, how we should manage our arguments.
And what we should look out for. I also use this test with my friends. Sometimes I feel like I am not the best at reading other people, so knowing their Enneagrams can kind of help me understand their motivations and how I can better support them as a friend.
Point number 3, you should always be yourself. I think I'm a pretty big advocate for that. Like, if you don't feel comfortable being exactly who you are with the person that you're spending the most time with, then that should really be a red flag. Like, you can't hide things from them forever. At some point, those things will
kind of come out. Right.
Yes, and so I think the beginning of our relationship, it was kind of funny where I would just...
Yes, I remember it was like the second time I'd ever met Kevin, and we were in the car listening to Taylor Swift, and Kevin straight up just starts singing. And
I'm not very good at singing.
Had a lot of admiration for Kevin just like being so unapologetically yourself. And if I saw that as a red flag and I saw that
like, you don't like my singing, then you would just leave.
If that was enough of a trigger for me to then like not be in a relationship with you, then like I also am just not the right person for you, right? I've definitely been in like a past relationship where I felt like I was not completely myself. There were things that I didn't feel comfortable sharing, and it was exhausting because you have to, it's not that it's a lie, but you have to constantly actively hide parts of your life. And
oh, that sounds intense.
If someone doesn't accept all of you, they can't have any of you.
Wow.
Preach. Number 4, there are no correct answers when it comes to timelines. I think in a relationship, there's so much pressure, right? People are constantly asking you, you know, did you guys move in together? Are you getting engaged? Are you getting married? When do you want kids? The questions will never stop, and there's never a right time to do anything because every relationship is different, right? They'll tell you like, oh, you have to have been dating for at least 1 year before you move in with each other, 2 years before you get engaged. There's no such thing. You know, you can take longer than that. You can be super speedy.
And yeah, you can have your own, like you don't have to follow the traditional steps either.
Right. I think what's really important is that you and your partner are in alignment, right? As long as you guys are on the same page for what you want out of that relationship, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I think we were really fortunate in our timeline that like kind of the quarantine and everything, we got to know each other pretty quick. And so we kind of knew what it was like kind of living with each other before Miki decided to move with me to Seattle. So Miki and I were in the same place in Japan when we were like babies, and we were in LA at the same time, and we like did research in the same building when we were like teenagers.
We did.
But we didn't date them. I don't think
No, we've never crossed paths.
Yeah, or we didn't remember.
Until you slid in the DMs.
Oh my gosh. Number 5. You can always make time for things that matter in the relationship.
I think when someone says that they don't have time, what they really mean is that this is not a priority right now. Because you can always make time. Like if you look at people's like screen times on their phones, most people have a screen time from 6 up to 12 hours a day. So one of the most common messages I get from you guys is, hey, like, you know, I'm also dating this surgery resident and he doesn't text me for like 2 days at a time, but also he works 80 hours a week. Is that normal?
He's not doing surgery for 2 days in a row.
I agree. Kevin always makes times to text me, and if he's gonna go into a long surgery, he always texts me beforehand to let me know, like, hey, gonna be a really long surgery, we'll text you when I'm out.
Yeah. How long does that take? Like 3 seconds. Has no context. You can even do a shortcut on your phone, like I'm busy. Like you can set those things up.
I think a lot of the times we excuse bad behavior when people don't communicate with us. We say, oh, like, you know, we know they're busy, or, you know, they're just not good at communicating. There really is no excuse for that. Those are our 5 big lessons. I think this is actually our first like relationship advice video that we've made. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If there's other topics you'd like us to talk about, if you have feedback for this video.